Hi, I'm Karen, and you're watching Catching Up with Karen Mom Talk. Today's episode is going to be about our breastfeeding journeys. We talked about the basic pregnancy, then we talked about delivery, and now I'm going to talk about what happens after baby gets here. Ideally, the beginning of your breastfeeding journey is going to start within the first 24 hours after you have your baby. So this is my breastfeeding journey. I had some postpartum complications that led to me having to stay in the hospital for a prolonged amount of time. I was in the hospital maybe 5-6 days. It allowed me to start my breastfeeding journey being monitored by postpartum nurses, by lactation consultants, by pediatricians, and multiple doctors. These people work with mothers who are starting their breastfeeding journey, and they have amazing tips. I went into my journey expecting breastfeeding to be easy. I mean, my mom did it. She had success for all three of us, and her mom did it before her, and women have been doing it for thousands and thousands of years. So it should be easy, right? I mean, it should just come natural to me. Not really. Breastfeeding doesn't come natural for everybody. I didn't know what a proper latch was supposed to look like. I didn't know if it was supposed to hurt or not. I didn't know what positions were okay. I didn't know anything. For the very first time in a long time, I was clueless. I stepped into completely new territory. I was new as a mother. I was new into breastfeeding. It was just like new. There was really no amount of reading material and videos or planning that could genuinely prepare me for what it would be like. I was told it would be a beautiful bonding experience, and it's the most natural thing you could do, and it's a beautiful thing. But all these people telling me it's super amazing didn't tell me that I would be engorged, that the first couple of weeks my nipples would hurt, and they didn't tell me about the leaking. They didn't tell me how exhausting breastfeeding actually is, and that breastfeeding is actually a full-time job with no vacation time. When I started, my baby was cluster feeding, and I had an instilled fear that I wasn't enough. I started my breastfeeding journey feeling inadequate. My mom would tell me, hey, your baby's eating so much, maybe you're not giving him enough. My mother-in-law would tell me, with my sons, I wasn't able to produce enough, so I had to supplement, and so we just stuck with formula. I was hearing from left and right, up and down, that I was not enough. I was in the hospital, I was panicking, and I told one of the nurses, do you guys have formula? He's constantly eating, he's eating every 15 minutes, and he's hungry. I don't think that he's getting enough from me. The nurse was like, all right, chill. It's like, it's okay. Baby's cluster feed. I was like, what? Yeah, they cluster feed. They went ahead and informed me what to expect. They gave me tips to help with engorgement. They brought me cold packs and heating packs and nipple balm, and they were godsend. To this day, I want to give credit to these postpartum nurses. Had they not been there for me, had they not stopped me in the middle of my panic, I would have probably given up breastfeeding and, gone straight to formula. Because that way I can see how much my baby's actually eating, and I would know he's full, and I would know that he has enough. But they went ahead and reassured me. And, this is what I'm hoping the next couple of videos will help you guys, reassuring you guys that some things are normal and what to expect and what it'll really be like. So that was my experience. What are some breastfeeding must-haves that I recommend everyone should have? First is a nursing pillow. So my favorite is the My Breast Friend. And what I like about this pillow is that it'll strap and it'll be super secure around your waist so you can have like actual genuine support when you're feeding your baby. I bought the Boppy pillow because I was able to use this for tummy time with my baby. Boppy helps in a similar way. It doesn't offer that like extra support that the Breast Friend has. So it's totally up to you to decide, you know, what type of nursing pillow you want. Now, another thing I recommend are breast pads. Whether you want disposable or reusable is totally up to you. I do own both. I started off with disposable and now I own these super cute Kia Babies reusable ones. They're super soft. Another thing I recommend is a milk collector. Whether, you know, it's a Haka, a Lansino, a Bumblebee, you can buy them off of Amazon. You have the, you know, the Haka ones, the Haka milk collectors that, you know, suction onto the breast and will, you know, draw your milk out. Or you have just the regular ones that you put on your nipple to sleep and it'll catch any extra milk that you leak overnight. I recommend these for multiple reasons. When you're breastfeeding, on one side, the other boob's gonna start leaking. And that's a ton of milk that can just be stored away. So this helped me stock up my freezer. That way you don't have to look into pumping in order to make a freezer stash and then accidentally cause an oversupply. I also recommend heat and ice packs for your breast. I know Earth Mama Organics has their Booby Tube. Lansino has their TheraPearl 3-in-1 Breast Therapy. I recommend this because if you are pumping, if you are breastfeeding, heat helps draw out the milk, or helps draw everything out better. It also helps if you have a clogged breast duct. The heat, applying heat will help. I want to say kind of like loosen it. It'll also help with soreness, tenderness, and especially when you're engorged. I also recommend a sleeping nursing bra, a nursing tank, or a nursing nightgown. I literally lived in my nursing nightgown for the first month and a half. It was the best thing I had ever received. It was super easy to just pop in and out. It offered support. Definitely recommend the nightgown. And I also recommend a nursing cover. That's if you decide you want to cover up when you're breastfeeding. I use my nursing cover when I get cold. I use it when my baby gets cold. I use it as a scarf, as a little shawl, a poncho. And what I like about it, when I do use it as a nursing cover, which is what it's intended for, I like the fact that I don't have to keep adjusting it. I don't have to worry about it like slipping off or falling off. And there's beautiful designs. I got this really cute floral one that I love to use. Now, useful nipple care products. This is something you're gonna have to think about. Why? This is because starting your breastfeed journey, you can have multiple issues. If your baby's not latching all right, or even if they are, having that amount of attention to a specific area can cause irritation, swelling, cracked nipples. So you want to make sure you're taking care of yourself, your nipples, as much as possible to avoid infection or bleeding or cuts. First things first, nipple cream. Nipple cream moisturizes and supports healing. Another thing you can use if you don't want to use nipple cream is your own breast milk. So you can massage breast milk onto your nipple before and after feeding. What this does is breast milk has antimicrobial properties that will help, and it also has like high in fatty, so it'll help moisturize and keep it from getting infected. Hydrogel pads, they offer instant breastfeeding pain relief. I would use this in the hospital a lot. They did tell me it's ideal if you use this if you have cracked nipples, but I would just use them because I was sore and it was nice to have one on top of the nipple. So hydrogel pads, breastfeeding shells. So if you do have a cracked nipple, So that's, you do get like a little crack, you know, if you have chapped lips, and if you let them chap enough, your lips crack and they start bleeding every time you smile or you talk. So nipples do that. It is like fine skin. So breast shells, they fit inside your bra, they go over your nipple, and what happens is it keeps the clothes from rubbing onto your nipple, and it has holes so it lets your nipples breathe and heal. A nursing bra. Nursing bras are made from breathable and quick to dry fabric that wicks away excess moisture from the damaged nipples. So that's like when you leak or when you sweat, that's their purpose. Nipple shields. Nipple shields are common if you are struggling with latching issues, you have inverted or flat nipples. They help if your baby has a tongue tie or a lip tie, and before you get it reverted, it could also help with the latching. It's a silicone cover. It's kind of like a nipple that would be on the bottle, but it's specific for your breast. They have little small holes for your breast milk to blow through as you breastfeed, and they protect the skin underneath, and they can give your baby something firmer to attach to. And ideally, they're a short-term solution. If you need nipple shields, I would recommend you speak to a lactation consultant to see for a more permanent solution. Pumping is breastfeeding. If your baby is receiving breast milk, they're breastfed. So what are pumping must-haves? I 100% recommend a pumping bra. That is on the top of my list. I didn't have a pumping bra to begin with, and my pumping experience was horrible. Just sitting there and holding onto him, it was like the worst. I would look at my pump with so much hatred. Micro steam bags. So this is gonna make sanitizing your pump parts easier. So the CDC recommends that you wash and sanitize your pump parts after every single use. There is a fridge trick that I can tell you about, but that'll be for a pumping focus video. Buy extra pump parts. So not many people know this, but you do have to replace pump parts, and depending on the pump part will depend on the frequency that they have to be replaced. So having them before you need them is super important. That way that when you do need them, you don't have to miss a pumping session while you're waiting for the pump parts to arrive, or before you're waiting to go buy them. Where would you buy them? You would buy them either online from the manufacturer, or if it's like a common brand like a Medela, you can go to Walmart or Target. They should have like certain parts from them. Another must-have, I 100% recommend you print a nipple ruler. What's a nipple ruler? So every pump has flanges, or they're the things that you attach to your breast to do the pumping. They come in different sizes. Every boob, every nipple is a different size. So I recommend you measure both of them. That way you know that you are using the right flange size. If you are not using the right size, you will experience some sort of pain, blistering, cracked nipples, swelling, depending on whether it's too big or too small. So measuring beforehand will help you know whether you need to buy new parts. If your boobs are two different sizes, that's okay. That is normal. A lot of women have that, and they do have to end up buying different flange sizes. That's okay. I'm gonna go ahead and type out right here the link. It's pumpables.co/pages/measure. I'm also gonna provide the link down below in the description. Well, that's it for today. That was our intro into breastfeeding and our must-haves. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you again next week. Bye.